This is Film Festival Hacks, the podcast with Film Fest insights from both sides of the badge. Alex Ferrari is the creator of IndieFilmHustle.com and a veteran filmmaker with more than 600 festival credits. Chris Holland from FilmFestivalSecrets.com has worked behind the scenes with more than 200 festivals and is the author of the filmmaking handbook, Film Festival Secrets. Together, they're pulling back the curtain on the film festival knowledge you need to succeed.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Film Festival Hacks with Alex Ferrari and
Chris Holland. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about Withoutabox and FilmFreeway. So, Chris, give us a quick rundown of what Withoutabox and FilmFreeway is.
So, once upon a time, gather around the campfire, boys and girls. If you wanted to submit to a film festival, you had to fill out a paper form and send that along with a paper check and a copy of your movie, originally on 35 millimeter or 60 millimeter film. Did you know that, Alex?
Stop the madness.
I know. They used to actually, you would send your actual film to the festival talk about submissions expenses. Anyway.
Oh, before you go, I have to tell you a story about 35 millimeter and film festivals. I did a movie called Broken years ago, and there was another filmmaker who made a movie called Broken. And the filmmaker who made that movie was Winnie from the Wonder Years.
Uh-huh.
So all of a sudden, I've got back from a festival 35 millimeter print of a movie called Broken. So I had to get on the phone with Winnie.
I was going to say, what did Donica McKellar get?
She didn't get anything. I'm like, hey, Donna, I called her Winnie. She was cool with it. No, I called Donna and I go, hey, I have your movie. It's called Broken. Oh, okay. Well, can you send it to me? I'm like, sure, no problem. But it was just such an odd thing that I'm talking to Winnie from Wonder Years. But I digress. Please continue, sir.
You just got to get that name drop in there, don't you?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy.
I hear you. Okay. So, but more often it was a VHS tape or then DVD. And of course, then at some point around 1999, I want to say, somebody got the brilliant idea of, well, let's just put all this stuff online. And a little startup called Withoutabox did this for film festivals. You would put your information in once, and then you would be able to submit to all of the festivals out there that used this system. And it was so convenient that filmmakers flocked to it. And that, of course, meant that festivals flocked to it. And before you knew it, Withoutabox was basically the tool for people to use to submit their films to festivals. That was the way it was for a long time. Somewhere around 2007, 2008, Withoutabox was purchased by IMDB, which of course is owned by Amazon, and that further strengthened their hold on the film festival submission system. And more recently, about 2 years ago, roughly, a little Canadian company called FilmFreeway decided they could do it better. Withoutabox was not well loved because its system was clunky and it was expensive for festivals to use, and it was just generally not a pleasant experience, especially as time went by. So FilmFreeway came in and did, basically the same idea, but did it with a much cleaner interface, much easier to use, and made a lot of people happy. Since then, Withoutabox has sort of matched its pricing to FilmFreeway, and you have more of a true competition going on. There are other systems out there like Realport, Click for Festivals, Film Festival Life, things like that. But FilmFreeway and Withoutabox are the two main engines out there for online submissions of films to festivals. And now I need to catch my breath.
No problem. Well, I'll tell you a little bit. When I was doing my festival runs, I used Withoutabox exclusively. I have yet to use FilmFreeway recently, but I used to always use Withoutabox. And the wonderful thing about Withoutabox is that they send you daily emails on what festivals are coming up and where you should submit and so on. So I use those emails to do a lot of research about what festivals I should submit to, what festivals I think I should ask for fee waivers for, and all that kind of stuff. And we could talk about fee waivers later. I know you love that, Chris. But Withoutabox was wonderful, and for that sense, I didn't know the back end of it. I didn't know anything else. There was nothing else. So like when there is no competition and there's like an evil empire like Withoutabox kind of turned into, things aren't as efficient as they could be. So I was super happy to hear when FilmFreeway came in and kind of shook things up a bit. And I think it became better for the film festivals and for the filmmakers as well. Do you agree?
I agree. I think the convenience factor is definitely helpful, and the resource that Withoutabox, it's a double-edged sword. There's reasons to love it, reasons to hate it, more reasons to love it if you're a filmmaker, more reasons to hate it if you're a festival. The one thing that I think is inarguable is that the nearly 20% fees that Withoutabox was taking back in the day.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Depending on what your contract with Withoutabox was, it could get up as high as 18%. What that did, along with the deadline structure that Withoutabox insisted on, basically drove up the price of submissions fees across the board. And that was just something festivals had to do to be able to make sure that they held what little revenue they were getting from submissions at a constant when they were suddenly paying 20% of what that used to be to Withoutabox. Now, Withoutabox also helped those festivals grow because it meant the festivals were discoverable by festivals. It's a big directory of festivals, but again, good and bad that's going on there. These days, well, go ahead. You were going to ask.
No, the other good thing about Withoutabox is that once you submit a project to Withoutabox, you automatically get submitted into IMDB. And for those of you who don't know what IMDB is, InternetMovieDatabase.com or IMDB.com is the industry standard for basically resumes of your work, your entire work history in the business. So a lot of people trying to get into IMDb, it's a lot more difficult if you don't have a track record. So this is, if you've got nothing done and you submit through Withoutabox, once your movie is submitted, and I'm not sure what the rules are. I think it has to be accepted by at least one festival. But once it's accepted or at least uploaded, you get into IMDb. So that's a big plus for Withoutabox. And I'll just go through the very basic system of how to get in. Once you go in, you fill out you sign up for an account. You fill out all the information they ask about for the movie. They ask for a press kit. They ask for a trailer. And nowadays, they ask for you to upload your film to them to a secure place. So that way, when you submit to a festival, all they have to do is just go and watch your movie digitally. There's no DVDs. There's no VHSs, for God's sakes. There's nothing like that being sent around anymore. Everything's done digitally. So it's a very convenient thing for the festivals, a little bit more organization as opposed to 1,000 DVDs flying around the office. And also more convenient for the filmmaker because they don't have to send postage and spend more money and checks and all this kind of stuff. So that's the Withoutabox process. I'm assuming the FilmFreeway process is similar, correct?
FilmFreeway is very similar. They have fewer fields for you to fill in, certainly at first. And the screener, the actual, screening copy of the film on the web can come from Vimeo, or I think they support YouTube, or you can upload it directly to them as well. So they're very similar systems in terms of the nuts and bolts of what they do. The big differences these days are which festivals are represented on which platform, and some of the niceties of what you get. Certainly IMDb is a big factor in why people continue to use Withoutabox. The number of festivals served by FilmFreeway is now greater than the number of festivals served by Withoutabox, which I don't think anyone thought would happen ever.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's true. But Withoutabox, through its history of and relationships with some of these festivals, is still holding on to some high profile
Clients.
high profile festivals. So Sundance is exclusive with Withoutabox. You can't submit to Sundance any other way than by using Withoutabox, which pretty much guarantees that, 80% of the people who make independent films in any given year are going to end up with a Withoutabox account.
So there's a lot of good things about this process, a couple negatives, but generally I think we're all moving in the right direction for film festivals and film festival submissions by using Withoutabox and FilmFreeway.
I don't think you have a choice is what it comes down to.
Not anymore.
No, I mean that very few festivals offer any other option. And frankly, the only festival that comes to mind at the moment that doesn't use one of those two services is South by Southwest. They have their own, and that's pretty much the way it is. There might be one or two other like super high profile festivals that are still holding out, but if you're just getting started or are not one of the giant festivals out there that just has the reputation to attract that many submissions, you need one of those two systems to be a known quantity. I think otherwise you would be much less visible on the festival circuit.
Very good. So I hope you guys got a bit of information about Withoutabox and FilmFreeway and which one's best for you and how to actually use them properly. So on the next episode, guys, we're going to be going over the best practices on how to submit through Withoutabox and FilmFreeway. So we'll see you guys in the next episode. Say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
Talk to you guys soon.
That's it for another episode of Film Festival Hacks. To learn more about guiding your film to success on the festival circuit, visit filmfestivalhacks.com.